Coming up on Season 2 of the award-winning Yours in Education show, get ready to ignite your curiosity with a look at Project Lead the Way.
What's really cool about this for the kids is they're getting to figure it out.
Join us as we dive into this dynamic program, sparking a lifelong passion for discovery that extends far beyond the classroom walls. From designing a 3D model to testing new prototypes, journey into the transformative world of a new virtual reality class in Placer County, where students redefine how they experience the world.
Since Miriam came into his classroom 1 year ago, she's actually doing things that some people thought she wouldn't be able to do in her entire lifetime.
Meet Sean Esson, whose own life experiences as a deaf person fuel his unique approach to communication, teaching, and ultimately changing lives. Welcome to Season 2 of the award-winning Yours in Education show, brought to you by the Placer County Office of Education. New episodes launch every other month right here on YouTube, so be sure to hit that subscribe button to be notified when each new show launches. And of course, we love to hear your comments on what programs you want to see next. Well, I'm your host, Kellie DeMarco, and with me, as always, is the Placer County Superintendent of Schools, Gayle Garbolino-Mojica. Great to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
We have such a great show for you today, but I do want to brag a little bit on Gayle because for more than 15 years, she's been recognized for her unwavering commitment to the students and families in Placer County's 16 school districts. She also serves as an advocate for public education and facilitates awareness of educational and legislative issues all across California. So I want to start with something that I know you put so much hard work into, and that is the state budget for education. So many people are involved with this. The state leaders of California, they spend months and months proposing and refining it, making all sorts of decisions about these programs and resources that in the end directly impact the students, the districts. So what is new this year? Tell me.
Well, this year is actually a very interesting year. And if you will allow me, we're going to go back to last year. And last year around this time, April, May, is when we have our tax deadline in the state of California. And last year, Governor Newsom decided that we were going to postpone our tax date from April 15th to October 15th, and then subsequently it became November 15th. So that was kind of an unprecedented move because at the same time, the state of California is making their budget for fiscal year 23-24. So the legislature met, the governor signed a budget based upon information that we really didn't understand or know how much our tax revenues were coming into the state of California. And in the state of California, our revenue is really made upon three things. It's personal income tax, corporation tax, and sales tax. And when we don't have personal income tax numbers that come in, we don't really have a good idea as to how much money the state of California has. So this past fall, when the tax date was extended to November 15th, we started to hear rumblings that the state of California had maybe overestimated how much money the state of California received in their tax revenue. So we started off with a $56 billion shortfall. I think now we're up to a $72 billion shortfall. So what school districts and our state leaders at the state level are trying to do is to figure out how are they going to bridge that gap over the next couple of years? And then how does that then translate to what the school districts will be receiving? So in the state of California, 44% of the state general fund goes to support local school districts throughout the state of California. So we are the largest state-funded program here. So it's really important that we have a real accurate number that we can budget and plan for. It sounds as if there's going to be some movement of money, some potential shortfalls, but we'll see how that impacts public education in just a few short weeks.
That's great. And I know that, this is so important because when you think about this, local, state, and federal dollars support 6 million students in California's K through 12 public schools. And so I know that you have, reformed the system through the state, and it sounds like this local control funding formula is really something that is allowing more decision making to local school districts. Is that right?
So in 2014 and 15, the state of California changed the ways in which we fund public education, and they created the local control funding formula, which is based upon the idea that every child and every school district has a base level of funding in the state of California, but also recognizing that in some communities of populations, those students need to receive additional funds. And that has all come about due to this new revised way in which we fund public schools and education in California. It is a very all-encompassing process to really manage a school district's budget. It's an 18-month process from the time that you adopt a budget to the time that you operate schools in a fiscal year and then check to make sure that everything was spent the way that they were supposed to be spent. It's about an 18-month cycle. So it never stops. It never ends in public education when we monitor budgets.
Yes, it never ends for you. It's as soon as you're done with one, you're off to the next. But does it worry you a little bit about this budget deficit? Because how is that going to impact all these schools?
So actually it does worry me. The voters in 1980 passed Proposition 98, which set a minimum floor of funding for public education. So in the 20 plus years I've been a superintendent, there's only been 1 or 2 years where we haven't been funded at the minimum floor. So I suspect that with Governor Newsom and our state legislature that we will be funded at the minimum floor. So we will have a constitutional guarantee for a certain amount of money. It's just interesting to see if we'll have ways in which they'll try to solve a budget problem by when they release the money and then potentially create a cash flow problem. So we will wait and see.
Yes, fingers crossed, that's for sure. Well, one of the other things I want to ask you about are these exceptional programs in Placer County, and one in particular, they're really equipping students for the workforce of tomorrow. And I want to talk about career technical education pathways. Sounds like there's a lot of benefits for students with these programs.
There are. What we have found is that when a school offers a variety of career pathways or career programs and classes, we find that the students are engaged at a higher level and see the relevance between what they're learning in a classroom and how that applies to a potential job or a career in the future. So it really provides a robust opportunity to engage students. We find that many of our high schools work with our local community college district. So once they graduate from high school, they can matriculate into community college or four-year universities, and the building blocks that they had at their high school fit nicely into a jumping off point for their post-high school academic career. We also find that sometimes these programs don't necessarily need higher education beyond a high school diploma. So maybe the students move into an apprenticeship, or maybe they have received certifications and then they go directly into the job market. So it's a great opportunity not only for schools and for students, but for your local economy, because you're basically educating your kids. They're getting excited about jobs that are local, and then they take those jobs and help uplift an economy in which they live in. And that's a win-win for both schools and the local region.
Well, we saw it firsthand, and we want to show you just how successful these pathway programs have become. Today we're highlighting what's called Project Lead the Way. It's a multi-year program where students at Antelope Crossing Middle School and the Dry Creek Joint Elementary School District excel in automation, robotics, computer science, medical detectives, and more. Take a look.
Are you planning on using one motor or two? So Project Lead the Way is a STEM-based program.
We talked about the brainstem.
I would describe Project Lead the Way as a project-based class that encourages STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math.
Right and left.
I like the Project Lead the Way class because we communicated a lot with people. We built stuff.
The current project the kids are working on is called a dragster. What's really cool about this for the kids is they're getting to figure it out. That's what I love about this class. Most of the time I'm guiding them, I'm asking questions, I'm trying to get them to figure out like, okay, what am I doing?
It really gets our kids interested in science, technology, and math and engineering.
Perfect. We're going to take those off.
And so that's amazing for the district because that really helps with our educational process, and the kids are getting to learn in a way that is different.
I like doing those kind of stuff with animals, especially because when I grow up, I want to be a veterinarian.
Testing it will be the way to really see that if that works on. I love Project Lead the Way in the sense that I'm not the answer keeper and I'm not giving them answers. The kids, I'm helping facilitate the kids to figure it out.
Kids are getting to learn in a way that is different. So they're working and they're learning math and they're learning science, and they don't even realize that that's what they're doing, and that's the amazing part of it, and they love it.
I love how she tries to understand people with, if we're going through a hard time, she comes, says, are you okay? If we ask questions, she makes it really clear after you get it. She's really nice and sweet and kind.
And make sure you follow the procedure.
It's going to be not out of a book. They're going to have their hands on, they're getting messy, and they're learning, and they're doing it by themselves, and they're thinking out of the box, and the critical thinking, and they're having fun, and they come home with smiles on their face and want to tell you about it.
It's just eye-opening. It's like, this is why I teach, because I'm not actually teaching. Will it accelerate? It's the kids are teaching themselves. I'm just being there as a support and cheerleader big time, just for them to keep doing what they're doing.
I love how Project Lead the Way fuels students' passion for discovery. So this one is a groundbreaking milestone for Foresthill High School, where students there are diving into the realm of spatial computing. We commonly know it as virtual reality. But what sets this program apart is the innovative techniques these students are mastering. So let's take a look at Intro to Production Innovation and Design.
All right, so let's go ahead and begin. The beauty of spatial computing is that you can engage with equipment.
You get put into a room and you can create things, and you can actually, in a way, you are the machine because you can create something perfect.
What we're doing in class is a lot more about understanding how, getting a better perspective on designing products.
The computers are affecting your sense of sight, your sense of touch, your sense of sound. And because of this computing, it's now spatial, meaning computing is now blended with how we experience the world. You can notice I can move around like I actually have a camera. That doesn't cost anything because it's virtual. You can operate equipment that is virtual. You can operate and experience products that are virtual, and you don't have to buy milling machines. You don't have to buy 3D printers because they're already 3D printing as they create in space. If I wanted to take that material again and place it on the step,
Technology to me can be very frustrating because of all your options. So it's really nice to be able to not only have the experience, but colleges will also know I have that experience.
We are able to offer programs like the one here at Foresthill High School because we have great professionals, we have great teachers who have the opportunity to have a vision and explore and satisfy that vision in regards to new pathways, new courses, new opportunities for our students.
I could definitely see a lot of this technology being used in a lot more spaces, like construction, product design, because again, it allows people to get a better perspective on things.
I can create a room and I can select where I want to walk, and I can walk all around what I'm making. In my bedroom, I have a section where I can walk through, and I have art all over my room because I'm an artist.
and that's the world that these Gen Z and generations that follow, that is their life, that is their form of computing.
The quality of life and the quality of education in Placer County is exceptional, and great communities have great schools, and I'm really proud that all of our schools are great.
So Gayle, we saw these students with those Meta 3 headsets and they're interacting with the virtual 3D models. So interesting to see how they're just so involved with it. And it sounds like virtual reality is becoming a really popular tool for factories and engineers in the real world.
You know, I was amazed by what those students are doing at Foresthill High School. I mean, not to age and date myself, but I remember being in college and having a word processor that had 3 lines, and we thought that that was advanced technology. And here we are now where students are working with these sets and creating 3D imaging and modeling. And it is such a new area of exploration. And I'm proud of some of the innovative education that is happening in this county, that we are staying cutting edge on this particular area. And it's absolutely fascinating to me.
Well, and it does really take the experts, the teachers who want to do this, and also just kind of a plan for the future, and for you to see that future, because I love that one of the teachers said, this is how these kids are learning now. We may not learn as we get older, but that's what these kids are learning. So it's just a perfect program for them.
I agree.
Well, let's switch our focus to meet an inspiring teacher. Sean Esson's dedication to his students goes well beyond the ordinary. Through the Placer County Office of Education's Deaf Education Program, Sean is not only providing tailored instruction and services for deaf and hard of hearing students, he's also drawing from his own experiences as a deaf person to create these meaningful connections and lasting impacts in the classroom.
I love this job. Every morning when I get up, I'm excited, I'm motivated, I'm enthusiastic to go to work. I always look forward to seeing my kiddos' faces every day. And that's what drives me.
Sean is amazing. He brings his whole personality and energy to his children.
So the bimodal bilingual approach is a unique advantage for deaf children because it reinforces their language development in sign language and literacy, and also spoken English. And I'm not here to critique oral language. I think, why not both?
He's able to interact seamlessly with his students and play, get down on the ground, just providing different access to different subjects, language. The kids thrive on that type of environment.
Plus, he also brings his own experience as a deaf person, his struggles, his learnings through school, and bringing that into the classroom to teach the children.
I strongly believe that role models are very important. I felt that connection with my students, knowing that we're the same, and remembering that I used to be in their shoes.
We absolutely love having Sean as a teacher. Since Miriam came into his classroom 1 year ago, she's actually doing things that some people thought she wouldn't be able to do in her entire lifetime.
I want to ensure that students leave my classroom with identity, making sure that they understand who they are. And I'm here to show them, hey, I'm deaf, and you're deaf too. I'm happy, you can be happy too. Deaf people can become something, they can become famous. Deaf people can remove barriers, they can. Deaf doesn't mean disabled. I have a language. Sign language provides unlimited opportunities.
Gayle, I love Sean's message that being deaf doesn't mean you're disabled. They have a language and they're capable of doing anything. And we certainly saw that. It was such a heartwarming story. I know we both teared up the first time we watched it. He's great.
He's a phenomenal teacher. And I remember the first time that I went into his classroom and I saw him, how he interacts with his kids. And he is so loved and adored by his students. What's amazing is these children have language, and some of them do have oral communication, and to see them code switch between signing and their oral language, it was just remarkable. And I'm so proud of that program and all the staff that we have in our deaf education program.
And I know the parents as well are very thankful for all that's into that program, so great job with that. Well, we have so many great stories to share with you in season 2. Coming up in July, we're going to take a look at how the Roseville City School District is creating these environments where all students can learn and achieve through positive behavior interventions and supports. Thank you so much for watching your Yours in Education, brought to you by the Placer County Office of Education. Don't forget to catch all of our episodes right here on our YouTube channel at Placer_COE. Take care, and we'll see you next time.